There's thousands of moments in my life that I cherished and I will cherish till the day I die that would not have been possible if I did not speak Spanish. You're gonna have these random coffee shop conversations with strangers, long talks with friends and cultivate deep, meaningful, lifelong friendships that you would never have had access to. There's techniques, methods, and practices that go back thousands of years. Somehow, none of it's taught in school. They're extremely powerful, life-changing. 4 of hearts, and then 5 of spades, and then the 9 of hearts, and then the 9 of clubs, and the king of hearts. Eso. You're gonna have to wrestle with your subconscious brain, with the monkey brain. You're gonna wanna not show up. You're gonna wanna skip a day, skip 2 days. Next thing you know, 5 months go by, and you're like, what the hell happened to my Spanish, right? We need to stay consistent. It's simple, but it's not always gonna be easy. Who's ready to get started? I wanted to call up Aaron. Aaron was a student of mine, I think it was about a year ago, a little over a year ago. Started off with almost no Espanol, and now he's a master of Spanish. I see him conversing, having conversations with everybody in Spanish. It's not perfect, but it's completely functional, and he always gets his point across. Everybody understands him. Everybody is impressed and in awe by how great his Spanish is, especially after such a short period of time.
A huevo, güey.
A huevo, güey.
Okay, so yeah, I took Phil's course when I had about 4 months here in Mexico. Before that, I had done Duolingo for a couple of months, previous years before.
Louder.
But after being here for about 4 months, I knew I wasn't really picking it up on my own, so it gave me the head start to jump up on the platform and start picking up some methods for digesting some of the words and phrases, and more so ability to conjugate the verbs properly, and you can just plug and play any verb into there. So,
y una demostración, 20 segundos.
Okay.
Pues ahora podemos hablar en español.
Sí, más fácil. Fui trabajando en Plaza de las Américas hace 6 meses ahora, hablando con todos los gente de español. Muy amable la gente en Plaza de las Américas, pero ahora estamos mudando, ya mudemos a centro porque la gente tiene más dinero. ¿Verdad? Ok, gracias.
Sí, excelente.
Ojalá que nos vemos en...
Every lesson we're going to try to go over at least one joke, because jokes are a really, really powerful tool to connect with locals, to have fun, to kind of release some of that cortisol and start having fun and laughing and getting your brain in the right state. So jokes are a really, really powerful tool. Expressions are also really, really cool because they allow you to connect with the locals in a way that most people don't really get to, right? You learn Duolingo, you learn certain words and things, but when you start using the expressions and the nuances and the word plays, right? That's when they really go, oh, carnal, eres más mexicano que el nopal, right? Now you're more Mexican than the cactus. Right? And it's really, really cool and handy to get out of tickets with cops and things like that. When you have a couple of things that you can say. I drove my motorcycle for 6 months without a license plate. And I thought it was a great way to get my Spanish to the next level, to handle conversations under stress and pressure. And during those 6 months, most of the time, 60% of the time, I got off with a warning. Didn't have to pay anything, right? 60%. I think that's a pretty fair number. Right? Considering a lot of people have had issues with cops, I didn't have a single issue. 40% of the time, I had to pay 200 pesos, bless you, to $10, right? And then just because of a couple of jokes, a couple of things, and understanding the fine cultural nuances of bribing a cop. For those of you who want to learn how to bribe a cop, we can see some of those moments during the lessons. I also have a YouTube video. I had it filmed at one of these Lechugas meetups, so you can just watch the video and learn all that you need to do to save thousands and thousands of dollars on cops, right? See.
We had to bribe a cop 2 or 3 days ago in Chiapas.
Oh.
San Cristobal, because you are not allowed to turn right on a red light.
Oh. But now you know.
Yeah, and they're all out there watching.
Well,
I got caught going up a one-way
no,
street.
in Chiapas, but here you can. So. Speaking of that, there's also a law in Playa. A lot of people don't know about this, but as a tourist, right, you are allowed 2 warnings for any non-serious offenses while driving, right? So I'm going to post it in the Lechugas group. So if you get pulled over or something, you show them that and say, okay, I was wrong, I'm sorry, give me the written warning, I'll be on my way. And they don't want to do the paperwork, so they'll just say, get the fuck out of here.
I know, that's what they said to me.
Yeah, it works, huh?
I said, write me a ticket.
Yeah?
He said, give me 1,200 pay ticket.
They
I said, 900 pesos. I said, no, write me a ticket.
Thankfully, they're lazy. They don't want to work, right? I would recommend first start playful, use one of these jokes, right? And then if that doesn't work, then you ask them, okay, fine, write me the written warning. I'm allowed to. Here I have it, the official law, right? So a joke, expression, we're going to do troubleshooting. So whatever issues or struggles you've been having with Spanish, right? I already have 3 that we're going to get to in a moment. We're going to get to at least 1 to 3 different verb tenses. A lot of times they'll be repeated, but verb tenses are some of the most important things, right? They're the backbone, the structure of any language. So if you can handle the verbs, you can handle the language. So it's extremely important. At one point you're going to be like, oh my God, Phil, shut up with the present tense already. But I've met many people that after 10, 20 years, they still didn't realize or can't wrap their head around that you just add an S, they add, right? There's a couple of simple things. So we're going to go over them again and again and again. Every single verb tense could be explained and broken down in a couple of minutes. They're not very complicated, so you won't waste a lot of time, but we'll do at least 2 so they get really reinforced in your minds. And we're going to learn some words with different stories and associations. And before we start with the questions, let's see who has had some Spanish wins, some moments where you've been able to express yourself, get out of the wrong kind of trouble, or get into the right kind of trouble, or get something that you wanted, or who has some Spanish win that they want to share? Come on, somebody's experienced something cool. I mean, we got out of a ticket, yes?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was very proud of myself the other day. I went to the supermarket and I was actually helping a tourist because they didn't understand anything that the cashier was asking, and I was like, oh, I know, and I was able to help them.
Well done. You see what I'm saying? When we are being of service, right? Helping doesn't necessarily mean like giving money or buying. It could be spending time, giving advice, supporting, encouraging, whatever you can do to support, to go out of your way to make somebody's life easier, right? All of a sudden, it becomes a lot easier to remember your Spanish, right? Ina oftentimes says that her Spanish isn't conversational yet, it's not that great yet, but when she has friends from out of town that don't speak Spanish or English, she's the tour guide. She's speaking, negotiating, right? Getting out of trouble with cops and doing everything all in Spanish, right? All of a sudden, when you're going outside of yourself to help, to assist, right? There's less fear and more happiness. The neurochemicals are all aligned to give you the best opportunity to express yourself. So, well done, excelente. And was it kind of in Spanish a little bit?
Well, my friend was speaking most of the Spanish, and she's new to it too.
Okay.
But we got out. It was also Tabasco. We ended up paying him $1,000.
$1,000.
He had a ticket. He was giving us a ticket because we didn't have our insurance on a rent-a-car, and you can't. Apparently, my renter, who's a taxi driver, said they're not supposed to ask you anywhere in Mexico for insurance.
Yeah.
But
So
he showed us a rule book, and he said this is what it says: 4,800 pesos.
okay, definitely watch the YouTube video. Would have saved $1,000 on that one. So when you have certain Spanish tools, when you can communicate basically in Spanish, you literally save thousands of dollars, right? So it's not just about what you get, all the better opportunities, going to local weddings and parties and things like that, being a part of things and feeling connected and engaged and welcome, but also getting out of trouble and saving thousands of dollars with the cops. Yes, Les. Sorry, Dal.
When I first got here, I was paying 75 to 100 pesos for a taxi.
So when he first got here, he's paying 75 to 100 pesos for taxi.
35 pesos now.
And now 35 pesos. Eso. Yeah. See? You can get descuento local, the local discount, a lot of places, all right? So, muy importante, muy importante. All right, yes, big win.
I learned to say, no quiere pagar precios gringos. Through taxi driving,
Yeah.
automatically it goes down.
I don't want to pay the gringo prices, and the prices go down. No quiero pagar precio gringo. Very good.
Put that on the site.
Yeah, post that in the Chugas group. Really good. Excelente. All right, yes.
I've been using my Google Translator, and I used to just show it to them, but now I'm trying to say it first.
Ooh, well done. Excelente. So there's nothing wrong with Google Translate, right? As long as it's used as a tool, not as a crutch, not as a scapegoat, right? You can use it to figure out the gaps, but first, before you resort to that, try to remember it, try to think about it, try to use it. If you can't, then don't, try to use a different word. If you can't, then use the Google, but then, at least read it, right? Then you practice your reading skills, so nothing wrong with that. Yeah, Sonia.
I just wanted to say you improved my love life.
I improved your love life. Woo! So is it true what they say about Latinos? Mucho pasión? Eso!
When I came to your course, I wasn't fluent in Spanish. I knew some stuff, but I didn't feel comfortable to speak. And at that time, my Latino boyfriend, his English was better than my Spanish. But after your course, it changed drastically. And I survived 5 months in South America because of you and your course. Really.
Muchas gracias. You thrived. Now you're wearing the pants, right? Well done. Yes, we had...
I've got one. So when I was in Mexico City, I had to go see a pharmacy. And when I went to see the consultant, because there's a doctor there, I was like, the first thing I said to him was, "Hablas inglés?" And so when I got back to here and I had to go to the city, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to assume they don't know how to speak English, so I'm just going to go in and speak the whole thing in Spanish. And so I sat down in front of him and I was speaking Spanish like the whole time, and then I got to a word that I didn't know how to translate, so I said it in English. And then he just started speaking perfect English to me. The entire time, up until that point, we were speaking Spanish. And I was like, this is so amazing.
Excelente! Right? It's like that famous warlord said, when you're going to an island to try and take over and conquer the island, you burn the ships. So there's no going back. There's no plan B. You fight, right? You win or you die. So well done for burning those ships. Yes, Tim?
Latina girlfriend, and we go for walks in the morning and the evening. And I wanted to say, we're getting close because we get tired, walking. So I said, she taught me, and I say, ya mero llegamos a la casa. And so every time I say that when we get close to the house, and then she teaches me all these other sayings that I sent to you.
See? So that's it, learning the expressions. Yes. Well done.
No more brothel for Kimmy's.
Huh? Okay.
Pero ya subo con una orden que me falta y nada.
Ok, gracias. ¿Y la charola? Ok, gracias. Sí, le pasa a él, porfa. Excelente. All right, so we got a great win. Yes, anything else or no? All right, so questions. We had a question over here.
Back when or?
Yeah, before you.
Part two? Or?
Yes. So the two, the T, right? So the easiest way to answer this question is remove the tú from your mind forever. There is no yo, there is no tú, él, ella, nosotros, but it doesn't exist anymore. Okay? That's Duolingo thinking that your brain can't handle a different way of thinking, right? That's some teachers thinking that you can't handle it. But when you listen to locals, just remove it. You don't say, yo hablo español, yo no como picante, right? Just drop the yo, the tú, right? It doesn't exist, right? It's just hablo español, no como picante. There are two moments or two reasons why you would put it, but that's when you want to make different layers of expressiveness and nuances and like subtext and like be clever, right? How about before going on level 3 and 4, let's get comfortable with level 1, right?
Yeah.
Excelente. So when that time comes, right, come and ask me and I'll explain it to you. But until then, just remove the tú from your brain completely forever, and the yo and the él, ella, nosotros, vosotros doesn't exist. So it's only para mí, para ti. Para mí, para ti.
So it's incorrect to say para tú.
It's incorrect. It's incorrect. It's para ti. Para mí, para ti. Para mí, para ti. The only ones that you will hear, right, is like the te and the me. And that's when it's attached to a verb, right? Like I love you is te quiero, because it's like with the verb, te quiero, right? I like is actually it pleases me. It's me gusta, me it pleases. So when it's with the verb, it'll be me or te. And when it's my thing, para mí, para ti, para mí, para ti, para mí, para ti. Great question. We had another question over here and then here. Yes.
Yeah. So mine was like, I'm not sure when to use bueno versus bien.
Okay, very good. So the easy answer, I'm going to give you different layers because it's a little bit challenging for me because we have people from different levels of fluency. Some are just starting and some are already at a pretty advanced level. And some people come every week. Some people are new. Some people. So I'm trying to make it as beneficial and educational for everybody. So in some moments you might be a little confused. In some moments you might be a little bit bored. But we'll try to make it all equal. So the easy answer is pick one and forget the other. Doesn't really matter. You can use one or the other or both. It doesn't matter. And then for those who are a little bit beyond that and who want to actually understand the nuances, the easiest answer is I think of what's Kinder's chocolate bar? Kinder Bueno. So when you're eating it, when you are ingesting it or tasting it with your senses, when you're tasting it with your senses, it's bueno, right? Que bueno, right? Bueno, taco bueno, right? When you want to say the word well, you'll use bien, right? Like, how are you? Bien, I'm well, right? In English, nowadays, a lot of people just say, I'm good, and you, right? That's technically incorrect, right? Like they say, you're not doing good, Superman's doing good. You're doing well. Nowadays, nobody cares in English, right? You can say, I'm good, I'm well, nobody cares. So in Spanish, you can use both, but technically, bien is well, right? Todo está bien, is everything well, right? But if I say, right, how's the taco? Is bueno? I'm asking if it's delicious. So bueno is, chocolate bueno, and bien is well. Great question. And then, yes.
I noticed that lo can be before.
Very good. So the lo, the me, and the te can be before or after. Very good question. So the easy answer, doesn't matter. Put it wherever the hell you want. Let them figure it out. Conversations are two-way streets, okay? If it's all you putting and going, oh, I don't understand that, right? Like say, oh, I don't know where the bus is. Oh, I don't know what bus means. I don't know that word. Oh, you mean bus? Yeah, well, fuck off. I don't, like, if you can't figure out the difference between bus and bus, then you don't want to be talking to these people, okay? So you can put the lo, the me, the te anywhere you want. It doesn't matter. But the next step, if you want to get it right, all right, you always, no exception, you always put the lo, the me, and the te before the verb. That's why you say, I love you, it's te quiero, right? It pleases me is me gusta, me it pleases, right? I'm sorry, I feel, lo siento, always before. There's no exceptions to this rule, guys. Except when we have a really big fucking magnet involved. When we have a really big fucking magnet, right, it's gonna suck on the lo, the me, and the te at the end, right? So most people don't know about this because about 300 years ago, the Spanish council got together and they made a big change in the language and they removed it from all the history books. So most Mexicans you ask, they won't know about this, right? It's been completely glazed over. But you guys know better because I know the real history of the Spanish language. So every single verb in the Spanish language used to end with really big fucking magnet, right? So hablar, to speak, used to be hablar, really big fucking magnet, right? Comer used to be comer, really big fucking magnet. But over time, it started to get a little bit annoying when the ink got involved and the ink was expensive, so they wanted to shorten. So they said, if every verb has this magnet, why don't we just put an R? And people said, but how will they know that the magnet is there? And they said, don't worry, people will remember. Fast forward 300 years, nobody remembers. But now you know that every single verb in the entire Spanish language, they all end with the letter R. Never forget that R stands for really big fucking magnet. And what it does is it sucks in the lo, the me, and the te at the end. So lo quiero is I want it. Lo quiero. But if I want to say I want to see it, quiero verlo. Why does the lo go at the end? Because it's a really big fucking magnet. And if you forget that and you say lo quiero ver, that's also fine. That's correct Spanish, so don't worry about it. But I always teach it. The lo, the me, the te always goes before. No exceptions, except if you have the letter R, which is the really big fucking magnet. It sucks it on. And if you forget, nobody cares. It's okay. Answer your question? Excellent. Now this is another interesting point. A lot of times we exhaust ourselves by making decisions, right? So we want to minimize decisions. So we want things to always be one way unless you have a trigger, right? Muchas gracias. Gracias, Flor. So it's like if you're driving home from work every day on the same path and you start zoning out and daydreaming, all of a sudden you're home. How did I get here? Right? I teleported or something, right? So the brain was going in its way. But what if there was an accident in front of you or a red light? You stop, right? You're zoned out, but when there's someone that shocks you or changes you, an elephant crosses the road, all of a sudden, right? Why the hell is an elephant here? So now you're snapped back into reality. So the goal is to think on autopilot as much as possible and avoid, if every single time you have to decide where to put the low, beginning or after, it's way too much effort, way too much thought process, you're wasting too much energy, and you're always going to be in your prefrontal cortex in the monkey brain, and you're always going to be out of flow. So if we always go with the flow and stick with the same thing with no exceptions, unless a trigger happens, then we learn in the most efficient way. Any other things that you've been struggling with? Anything that you think that's complicated, so I can correct you and show you how simple it is? Yes. Oh, this. This Mexican sign language. So there's a couple of, yes, this means yes, right? So imagine you have your mouth filled with tacos or with wine or beer, and the waiter says, do you want some more? No. Just put your finger up and say yes. Yes, yeah. And do you know how to say no? Do you know how to say no? That's not true. That's not true. Also, how do they say thank you?
Gracias.
Without words, I mean. No. So, it's a funny story. One of my friends recently was driving her scooter, and she let a car pass, and he went like this, and she was like, "Oh, fuck you too, asshole." A little feisty, right? But no, this means thank you or you're welcome. It's like I take my hat off to you, right? But they don't, now they just go, they put their hand up, right? So if your mouth is full and somebody says buen provecho, right? Enjoy, you don't have to say gracias. Just put your hand up like this. Take your hat off to them, right? Excelente.
Bien and bueno?
Yes.
So it took me, I don't know, maybe 20 years. I'd like my steak and my meat well done. So I'd go to resorts and stuff, and I could never figure out bien cocido.
Bien cocido. Yes.
It took me a long time.
Well, because it's well done. Yeah. So if you want your steak well done, so bien cocido, well cooked. So it's bien as well. Very good.
I have one, like, I always said buenos dias, but the local people say buen dia. Buen dia.
There's no difference. It depends on who you're speaking to. Some locals say buen dia, some locals say buenos dias. It's the same thing. Some of them are more generous because buen dia means good day and buenos dias means good days. So if they're feeling very generous and they're full of abundance and love, they will wish you many good days. If they're cheap bastards, right, they're going to say just one day. Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah. Buenas. So for good night, you say buenas nachos.
Right.
Buenas nachos. It's nachos. Some people will. It's not noches. No. Where did you learn that? Duolingo? No. Buenas nachos. Nachos. It's so hilarious to see the look of confusion on people's faces when they're like, no, it's noches. And you're like, that's what I said, buenas nachos. And they're like, they're hopeless, right? No, it is noches. It is noches, but it's funnier to say buenas nachos because they get confused. But then normally they'll laugh as well. It is whatever you want. Oh, wait, sorry. I had it here before. Somebody was no? Okay, never mind.
Just like you talked about porfa last week.
Oh, yes.
What about hasta luego? Because I feel like many of the locals really shorten it.
No, it's hasta luego, hasta pronto, hasta... No, I don't... Hasta luigis if you want. No. So yeah, great thing. Instead of saying por favor, right? Like a great gringo, right? Just porfa, right? Porfa. So a very important thing is don't just listen to Duolingo, right? Listen to people, right? There's people that are here for 30 years and they're still saying por favor. The only people that say por favor, academics, politicians, or waiters who are being very polite with you.
I was in the Cuba and I listened, and some of the locals say por favor.
So they're being extremely formal. If they're well educated or political or they want to be very formal, right?
In a collectivo, dude.
If their mom taught them, hey, the chancla doesn't make distinctions. The chancla taught them, say por favor, be a good boy, right? They're going to say por favor everywhere. But porfa, right, is so much more friendly, so much more, right, regular. If you want to be cute, you say porfis, and then you get extra special treatment wherever you go. Same thing for hola, right? If you want to be cute, olis. If you say it, if a guy says it, it sounds a little gay, but it's okay, right? It's also kind of, it's showing cute and playful, nothing wrong with it. Be comfortable. You can say olis and porfis, all you like. One more troubleshooting, one more problem, issue. Yes? Por and para. Excelente. The difference between por and para. All right, so the easy answer, there is no difference. Choose one. I would recommend para and use para for everything. That's the easy answer. If you want to get a little bit more specific and you want to sound more local, okay, I would say first, so por is like 5 different things and para is like 2 different things. So the easy answer, learn the 2, and if it's not that, it's going to be the other by default, right? That way we don't have to think of 7 things every single time. Pause, go through the list and figure out what we're saying. That takes too long. And we have too much stress, too much anxiety, and we get lost. So para is only 2 things. Para means the destination. Para is destination. Most of the time, it's destination. So if I say, voy para la playa, do you know where I am? No, voy para playa, so that's my destination. So you have no idea where I am, but you know where I'm not. Where am I not? Where you are. I'm not at the beach, right? So if I say voy para Europa, you don't know where I am, but I'm not in Europe, right? Para is the destination, right? Whereas por is more of the motivation most of the time. So por is mostly the motivation. So let's say it's my birthday and you say, Phil, I want to see you get really hammered. Can you get drunk for me? And then you ask me this favor and my destination is you. So I'm going to me emborracharé para ti, for you. But then por is the motivation. So maybe you stole a bunch of money, broke my heart, cut off my leg, and then spit on me. Now I'm going to get drunk por ti. The motivation of it, right? Let's say you open up a landscaping company and you hire me as a landscaper and you send me over to Robert's house to cut his grass. So I'm working for one of you and I'm also working for one of you, right? Who's the destination? Robert. The destination of where I'm going is Robert. So right now, trabajo para Roberto. But who's the motivation? Por. So whoever hired me, whoever is the owner of the company, trabajo por, right? So if I'm going to go buy a book or some eggs or something, right, and I'm here por somebody, it's because they sent me. Maybe they have a reservation or they know the guy and I'm here on behalf of, right? But if I'm here, like the thing is para someone, then I'm going to buy it and they are the destination, right? So if you just think of para is more destination and por is motivation, right? Por favor is literally for favor, right? The motivation of what I'm asking you for is for a favor, right? So that's the por and the para. The para could also mean in order to. In English, we only put this when we're in school and we're missing words on our essay. I am writing this paragraph in order to explain to you the differences, and right? I hope you enjoyed this. In order to, right? So in English, we've pretty much removed in order to. I'm calling you in order to know if you are free, right? In English, we've removed it. In Spanish, they kept it because it's just one word, it's para, right? So you can skip it if you like, but so there's different levels. The easy answer, doesn't matter, use para everywhere, right? A little bit more advanced, para is destination and por is the motivation. Great question. We will get into a little bit more in detail further on so we can explore the 5 and explore the 2 with examples. But for now, it's important that we go step by step. The most important thing is to keep it as simple as possible. And as we get a little bit more advanced, we're going to add more elements and practice them together and explore them in that way. Also, if you miss some weeks, I am recording them and I'll be posting them on YouTube. Really behind and overwhelmed right now with a lot of things, so I'm like 3 weeks behind, but the first one is up. All right, so if you haven't seen the first one, you can watch it. And then I'm gonna, as soon as possible, post the next 3, so you can catch up, so you can follow along, and that way, as it gets a little bit more advanced, a little bit more complex, you won't feel lost. Excelente. All right, so before we get into some of the verbs, let's learn a couple of words with the brain hacking, with the memory hacking, with the speed learning elements. Okay? So, let's...
Hi.
So, it's very important that we are going to be incorporating all of our senses, right? The imagination, some fear, right? Some excitement, some uncertainty. All these different emotions are going to be added into the memory, right? You got some of the donut there. There you go, don't worry, I got it, right? So I always joke around that I like to traumatize my students, because if I teach you something, you might forget it. But if I traumatize you, you have to pay a professional to get rid of that memory. There's a reason why trauma is so memorable. And when we experience trauma, positive or negative, right? I'm sure you remember your first kiss, or the first time you lost the only time you lost your virginity, right? Or, right? So that some moments of excitement, maybe that first time you came to Playa, right? There's moments of high excitement and love that you remember, but also the negative, right? So all high emotional events will actually produce a chemical in the brain, and that chemical will tie to the information, and it'll be stored in a very specific way in order to be easily accessed in the future. That's why when you think about those traumatic events, right, you can normally conjure up all the emotions and the senses, the smell of some perfume, maybe the time of the year that it was, the temperature, right, maybe clothes, colors, maybe there was some music that was playing in the background, right? So you got a little something on your shirt there. Okay. So, the more emotions and senses we're able to evoke, the easier, the better it's going to be to remember. So, one of us is going to have to go to the hospital tonight in the name of education. Who would like to go to the hospital? Adam? Come on. All right, thank you for volunteering, Nayla. Come on up. Okay. All right. Actually, come on this side. All right. So we're going to cut off one of her body parts, right? Last time I did a circumcision. We're going to do it a little differently this time. If anybody knows anybody interested, I do circumcisions on the weekends. I don't charge anything, but I keep the tips, so. All right. So we're all going to go to the hospital together, right? Because of support, right? So we're all going to go to the hospital together because we're going to slice off. Cody, in the beginning, learning, pretty much from like very, very little.
I thought that I was ordering tacos correctly, and I was just making a dick out of myself. But that's okay too. You're always going to be the biggest idiot in the room, and you have to be okay with that.
Hey, okay, come up.
Oh, okay. You want to do it?
Yeah, let's do this official. Yeah, I got the mic too for other. So we started off from pretty much nothing.
And now we're here. So I'm an airline pilot. I work in Canada. I think when we met, I was working for the United Nations in Africa, supporting peacekeeping missions. So I've been living in Cancun now for about 2.5 years. And obviously communication's huge. I mean, you're just gonna meet more people, you're gonna have more fun, you're gonna have a better time. If you're traveling and you're just associating with people that look like you, sound like you, and come from where you're from, then why are you here? Like, what's the point? There's so much richness here, there's so much culture. I think my big thing was, it's kind of the road blocking, right? I'm a professional pilot, I have this control of this aircraft, and yet I'm struggling with verb tenses. So it's easier to say, well, how come I can do this, but I can't do this? And I think it's just about overcoming it and appreciating that you're always going to be the biggest idiot in the room with the worst Spanish, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. Because if you're having fun, if somebody's laughing, then that's the connection. Maybe you didn't say it correctly. I found here the culture, especially with the Mexicans, they want to understand, and they laugh when you mess it up. There's countries in the world where maybe it's like, if you don't pronounce it correctly, it's not quite perfect, doesn't get understood. This is not one of those countries. This is definitely very, very friendly to learners, which I really appreciate. The road blocking is kind of a big thing too, and I know that we touched on this in your main class. The one word lluvia, I couldn't remember the word for rain for like honestly a year and a half, and it drove me nuts. And here I am, you know, you want to talk about the weather because we're boring, right? so I'm like, how do I say it? Like it's raining, or like we had some rain. Tenemos rain. What's rain? And I couldn't remember the word, but I know how to say water. I know how to say of the or from the. I don't know how to say sky. Right? So instead of roadblocking myself that I don't know this perfect word, that I created this perfect sentence in my head and I can't translate it perfectly, go around that roadblock, have a laugh, make a connection, and learn the word, right? That's kind of my big takeaway from this.
Okay. And how long would you say until you were having fairly confident conversation where you had like more than just kind of chit-chatting on a date or, you know, having a beer? Like, were you actually having deep conversations and like really getting to know the depths of people?
Yeah, okay, that's a really good one. I think I really noticed it. They say you have mastery of a language if you can make a joke. Mm-hmm. I think that's true, but it's also true when you find out where someone's family's from and what their history is and what the customs of that area. I think probably 6 months.
6 months.
And that's like living here though, and I live in an area with a lot of locals, so I have an opportunity to practice all day, even when I'm at work. I practice my Spanish. I do my boarding PA announcements in English and Spanish, and then the flight attendants do it in French. They can go to French. Right. But yeah, probably 6 months, I would say, when you're actually having like quality conversations to the point beyond the simple stuff, and you're actually asking questions and catching yourself saying, "Did I just make that sentence?"
Yeah.
Because you're pulling a couple of building blocks from like day 1 of the course, and you're combining it with some building blocks from day 3, and you're putting it together, and you come up with this completely abstract sentence that you create a connection with.
Right. And along those 6 months, how did you feel the monkey brain, the doubts, the insults in your brain? How did that feel?
Well, I mean, you make it fun, and you encourage us to get past that monkey brain and that roadblocking. And I think that when you see the kinds of success that you do, and there was something that you told me that whenever I teach anybody anything, and especially when they want to learn a couple of words in Spanish, and I'm like, use some of your, I don't charge them, but I use some of your techniques. The one thing you said is when you have an idea what the word might be in your head, and your brain is telling you that doesn't sound right. Of course it doesn't sound right. You've never said it before. Right? You've never said it before. Of course it doesn't sound right. You've never made those words with your mouth before. So it's about getting past that and trying it anyway.
All right, quick little 15-second demonstrations. Maybe you get some jokes in Spanish or whatever you want to talk about the day.
Sí, pero acaba de preparar nada para ti porque no tiene mucho tiempo.
No pasa nada.
Soy Cody, mucho gusto. Bienvenidos a la clase de Phil para español básicos para las vergas, los gringos y los gente de todo el mundo. Bienvenidos, estoy muy feliz para ver nosotros. Vamos a pistear después, a la terminas a las 8. Es muy importante, es muy importante porque no tiene la conferencia. Cuando le pistear, todo es fácil. Gracias.
Es bueno, ¿no? Yeah. So that's just, again, it's if Cody could do it, all you guys could do it, right? No, I'm joking. No, it's that
If I can learn Spanish, that'll all be a
no.
proven fact for you.
When you do. Everybody can do it. It's just a question of time. Maybe it took 6 months for Cody. Maybe it'll take 12 or 18 for you. Who cares? What's 18 months? I've met people that have been taking lessons for 20 years, 30 years, and they still can't speak. If it takes you a year or 2 years, you're laughing, you're ahead of the game, right?
And it's fun the whole time.
But if it's fun the whole time, then you're not waiting for the destination. You are enjoying every step of the way, right? It's like some athletes that are working their asses off, sacrificing everything to get a gold medal, right, in 30 years, and they've been working at it since they were 10, and then when they finally get it, it's like, well, now what? You know, I wasted my whole life, and now I have this thing, now it's useless. Right? So, but if you're enjoying every step of the way, then there's more value in the finish line because you've enjoyed every step of the way. So don't allow the monkey brain to get you. Stay consistent. If it takes 6 months or 12 months, I guarantee you will get there. But enjoy the way. The second gift that that I want to give you guys is the gift of brain hacking, memory hacking, speed learning. This is something that's a game changer. So we'll do 2 little exercises here just to show you a little glimpse into the power of this. So everybody close your eyes. I'm going to tell you a little story. Don't try to remember anything of the story. Just try to live it. Try to bring everything to life with vivid detail and just really make it come to life. So imagine you are with your eyes closed, really live the experience like if it was a dream, bring it to life. If you can't actually see visuals, just try to repeat the words in your head or whatever you could do to experience it, whatever makes sense for you. So imagine we're in the right after the movie Inglourious Basterds. For those who haven't seen it, they're trying to kill Hitler and kill a bunch of Nazis, and then imagine at the end they didn't kill Hitler. So now you are an infiltrated special agent sent as a backup plan to kill Hitler in case it didn't work. So there you are in the office, Hitler is there with all his generals, and he's slamming the table, going 99999, right? Like in the movie, 99999, right? Which in German means no, 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 no. But in English, it's 99999. I mean in German, right? So there he's going, he's yelling. So now everybody take your hand and put it into your pocket or your imaginary pocket. And now pull out that tiny miniature assassin mutated octopus that they sent you as the plan B. Now gently and discreetly put it onto the floor and allow that octopus to walk towards Hitler, mutate, and turn into this giant ninja assassin octopus. He's grabbing Hitler by the throat. All the generals are being grabbed and their heads are being ripped off. He's trying to grab you too, but you turn around and you start running away as fast as you can to try and escape the octopus. Now everybody bite down on that fake tooth that they gave you, and hopefully it's not a cyanide pill, and you hear that cracking in your teeth and the pill cracks. It doesn't taste like cyanide, so I think you'll be okay. But as you're running away, the octopus is chasing you. You look down at your hands and your feet, and you actually start transforming into a vehicle, into a car, like a Transformers, right? So you look down, you got 4 tires coming out of your limbs, your extremities. You got 4 tires just popping out of your extremities. So the 4 tires, you fall down, now you turn into a car and you drive out of Germany and you go to Amsterdam where you have your extraction point. So you pull into the first brothel you see to call for the extraction. Come on guys, get your mind out of the gutter. So as you drive into the parking lot, you transform back into human form. You try to get into the brothel, but the bouncer blocks your way. And you recognize him. He's this tiny little midget, vertically challenged, very, very short version of 50 Cent the Rapper. It's his doppelganger, but he's very short. His friends call him 25 cents. So there we got 25 cents. Right, the bouncer at the brothel, he's there blocking you, right, almost ready to get into a fight with you. Then everybody put your arms forward and pick up 25 cents, right, like a little toddler. And then he's shaking around trying to punch you, and he's squirming around. Now everybody put your hand on his head and your hand on his feet and smush him into your hands, squish him into your hands, and now he transforms into a 25-cent quarter. He turns into change. So now everybody look at your hand and pick up that 25-cent coin. Now as you walk into the brothel, there's a giant gumball machine like in the Blockbusters or the fairs, a giant gumball machine. Put 25 cents in the gumball machine, turn the lever, skrang, 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 skrang. Now the ball's going down, going down, going down, going down. Open the metal lever, pull out the ball. It's not a gum, it's you want a prize. It's like an egg. So you open the little egg, there's a little piece of paper, unroll the piece of paper, and it says, "Congratulations, you have won a complimentary 69 in the brothel." Woo! 69, exciting, everybody celebrate. We're getting 69, yay. So everybody's running in super excited with your 69, okay? And as you get in, you find yourself face to face with a giant tricycle, with a giant wooden puppet with red swirls on his cheeks. Oh yeah, it's Jigsaw from the Saw movie. This giant puppet on the giant tricycle. And now he starts chasing you, trying to kill you. Everything's trying to kill you today. So you turn around, you get the hell out of the brothel, and you look back and you have the tricycle, all 3 wheels, right? They're spinning with fire coming out of the 3 wheels, and he's coming towards you. You try to bite down on your teeth, you're out of pills. Luckily, there is a beautiful pink Ford pickup truck with 2 pink unicorns in the flatbed, and you jump in, the keys are in the ignition, right? You turn it on and you start driving away, and as you look back in your rearview mirror, you see the 3 wheels of the tricycle is still following you with fire coming out of them, and everybody reach forward and push the 4x4 button. Push the 4x4. Now you have enough torque and power to escape the clutches of the murderous Jigsaw. Thankfully, you had the 4x4 button to activate all the 4x4. Any questions, guys? So, yeah. So, yeah. So, a little side note. People are always a little confused. Like, hey, when are we gonna get into the Spanish, right? What are we doing with these stories, right? If I gave you a dull axe and asked you to cut down a large tree, how would you spend the beginning of your time? Sharpening the axe, right? Me personally, I would call a department store and maybe have a chainsaw delivered, right? Because I'm really lazy, right? But whatever, at least sharpen the axe. If you're not gonna get a chainsaw, at least sharpen the axe. Or I'd call a company and they'll send 5 guys and they'll just do it in 5 minutes, right? There's always gonna be a faster way. But at least, please sharpen the axe, right? So normally it takes 20 years to learn Spanish. We're going to do it in a matter of months, 6 months, a year, to get to a really solid, like, native fluency, okay? So in order to do that really, really fast, we have to understand how the brain works. So how to understand certain concepts so we can hack our brain, hack our mind, hack the Spanish language, and get to native fluency in 12 months or 6 months. So let's go back to the beginning of the story. Who has a cell phone? Who has a cell phone? You. All right, you have a cell phone. Open it up. Like to make a phone call. All right, everybody, in your head, don't yell it out loud. In the beginning of the story, think about where you are. Just think about where you are in the beginning of the story.
I'm still in the brothel.
Oh, that's my man. Yeah. I mean, he's like, hey, I don't care if I'm dying with my jigsaw. I'm getting my 69. All right, so in the beginning, where were you? In Germany. Excelente. And what was Hitler yelling? 999. All right, so put number 9 in the phone call, like to dial. So only 1. So number 9. All right. Now what happens next? You octopus, right? You put your hand in your pocket, you pull the octopus. What number is the octopus? 8. So put in number 8. All right. Then what happens? He starts killing everybody, and then what happens? You transform
into 4 tires.
And 4 tires. Excelente. You got 4 tires, right? So you're turning into 4. So put number 4. Excellent. Where do you go? The Amsterdam brothel. And do you get in with no problems?
No, 25 cents.
25 cents is blocking you, right? So 25, right? And then what do you do with 25 cents?
And then you put it in the gum.
In the gum machine. And what do you get? 69, right? So put in number 69. And then when you get into the brothel, what do you see? Who do you see?
The little short guy.
The little short guy, and what is he riding?
A tricycle.
Tricycle. What number is tricycle? Number 3. So put number 3. Now, as you're trying to escape, what do you get? How do you escape? The 2 unicorns, right? Completely useless information, but I love it that you remember it. Excelente. See? Most of the story is completely useless, but I'm sure all of you remember a lot of weird details, right? What kind of truck was it? It was a Ford. Again, also useless, right? And you hit the 4-wheel drive, which is the button that looks like 4x4, right? So put 4-4. Yeah, put 4-4 and then hit, and what number is that?
984-256-9344.
Is the contact saved? Okay, call it. I don't know, my phone's gonna ring. Anyway, that's my...
I'll save it.
Yes, great question. Couldn't I just tell you the phone number? Yes, I could. Who would remember the phone number if I just gave you the phone number right now? Even geniuses, this has been proven, even geniuses have a really difficult time holding on to 7 numbers at a time. If you tell a genius 7 numbers, right, they have a really hard time remembering it.
That's because they got so much on their mind.
That's because it's the wrong format and our brain, the monkey brain, can't hold on to it. That's not its job. But when we're doing this process, right, now we're able to, the people who master it are able to sit down in 1 hour and memorize 4,000 or 5,000 digits in 1 single hour, right? When I'm with somebody and they tell me their phone number, because I practice it for at least a couple of years, I'm able to make a story like this on the spot so that I can remember the phone number instantly. So who wants to tell me my phone number? Who remembers the story? Who wants to go through it? Yes.
You just want me to tell you the number?
Yeah, but don't look at the phone. Yes.
984.
984.
256.
256.
3244.
Oh, the 256. 9. You forgot about 69, the best part. And then you had the rest. 344. Well done, well done. Excelente. Who else? Who wants to go next? Come on. Who wants to go next? Yes, thanks for volunteering.
98.
98.
25.
Oh, you're missing 98. You bite on your teeth and you get
984.
984. Very good.
25.
25. 69. Then you.
44.
Right before 44. What? 3.
3 and then 44.
Yes. Well done. You see how? Oh, don't pick me. No, I can't do it. But then yes, we fucking can do it. Excelente. Tim, what's my phone number?
98.
98. Then bite your teeth. How do you escape the octopus? 98. Yeah?
5.
Oh, I mean, if you count the rear thruster, but yeah, you only how many limbs do the women have? 4. Yeah. 984. 25. 6.
3.
You're forgetting the best part again. 6, 9. Then the 344. Excelente. Well done. Yes. Excelente. Over here, who wants to go? Come on. Yes.
I can do it, I think.
All right.
Okay, so attends. We start the story with.
We're in the beginning. Where are you? Who are you with? You're on a secret mission.
Oh yes, 9.
9.
8.
8.
4.
4.
And 25.
25. 6, 9. 3. 4. 4. Excelente. Excelente. The 2 unicorns mess.
I knew it was numbers.
See? Yeah.
You're gonna get called at 2 in the morning.
So yeah, that's why now my brother has that number. So now it is in theory faster to just give you the phone number, but it won't last as long as your mind, right? You're better off investing, right, a couple of minutes in the beginning. When I first started doing phone numbers, it would take me 5-10 minutes to get one phone number, right? I was wasting my time for 5-10 minutes, but now in that same 5-10 minutes, I can do 10-15 phone numbers. Right? Because I practiced over time. And that has helped my brain advance to the point where I can learn things even faster than before. So it's great question. That was my next point. So thank you very much for the segue. I'll slip you the $5 later, or the $10. So now we have names. So basically what we're doing is we're taking information and we're reformatting it into a way that's more memorable, and then it gets stored in a better way that we can access it. Right? Now if you think about my phone number tomorrow, and then in 2 days, and in 3 days, probably 6 months from now, you'll still have it. Because you've learned it in a specific way, and then you've reinforced it a couple of times, then it's locked in your long-term memory forever, right? So hopefully, if you're in jail, hopefully you also have a few other phone numbers by then. So, okay, muchas gracias. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. All right, names. What's your name?
Brian.
Brian. Brian. What does Brian make you think of? What does it sound? What?
Lion.
Brian the fucking lion. Ferocious like a beast. Excelente. Alpha. Yes. So Brian the lion. And he even has kind of like a leopard kind of hat. Excelente. What else does Brian make you think of?
Like in French, when we learn English, it's always Brian is in the kitchen.
You're famous in French. Brian is always in the kitchen, right? So right? So we have, everybody has different experiences. Who has watched Family Guy? Right? Brian Griffin, right? Excellent. We got Brian Griffin, right? What kind of cheese does Brian like to eat? Brie and others. Brie and Camembert. Brie and Camembert. Brie and Brian, right? So Brian, right? What does he like to get drunk on? It could be beer, but a very more old school drink with Brian.
Brandy.
It could be brandy or rye. Is that even a thing anymore? Does that exist anymore? Rye and ginger, right?
You're
but
your Canadian show.
Yeah, is that a just Canadian thing?
I think it might be.
Okay, so rye. Okay, but he has the palate for the A-list rye, but he's got the budget for the B rye. B Ryan, right? Excelente. So his name is Brian. Anybody else? All right, Tim. Right? Timber! Watch him fall after he gets his 69 in the brothel, right? And then he has the morning timber, right? The morning wood, right? Tim. I don't know if that's all Canadian, but Tim the Toolman Taylor? Yeah, that's American, I think, right?
My middle name's Allen.
Tim Allen, excelente, right? A Tim Can. Tim Horton, yes, that's also Canadian. Tim Hortons. Tim Bits, right? Right? I've heard of too much information, but have you heard of too information much? TMI, TIM? Too information much. TMI. So sometimes it's a bit of a stretch, right? So it's easier to go with the easier ones, but if you force your brain to go for the stretch and the challenging one, not like a tier 1, just like Tim Hortons, but a tier 3, like TMI, TIM, then you're training your brain for lateral thinking, creative problem solving. Then you get to the point where your brain is permanently expanded and you're able to find solutions to complex things all the time because you've trained your brain to do that. You also become a black belt in dad jokes, as Adam and I, as you guys very familiar with. Right? Because a dad joke is just connecting two things that shouldn't connect together and in a way that shouldn't be funny, but for you it's hilarious, right? So that's my specialty. Right? We got Cody here. Cody, what is Cody? Codeine, right? Let's get the codeine up in here. Excelente. Right? Also, if anybody needs any, you can see him after class. Right back there in his office. Right? Cody. Any gamers? Any gamers? Video game? War games? Call of Duty? Cody? Right? When he goes fishing, what does he like? Cod. Excelente. Cod, right? Excelente. So we got all these different things. So what's his name? Brian. What's his name? Tim and... Wow, it would have been easier to just tell you the names, but then you wouldn't have remembered them. Okay. Right? So you have to challenge yourself. One person might look at it and say it's more work, but it's actually less work. It's more efficient. It's a little bit more of a challenge in the beginning, but it's fun. It's weird, right? Sometimes people ask me, hey, how do you remember my phone number? And it's like, oh, for the sake of our relationship, it's better if I don't tell you. Because it's sometimes, right, you get bored making regular stories. So the stories gets weirder and weirder and weirder until eventually, right, if you start telling people the stories, you get less friends for some reason.
I was watching, my kids wanted to watch Pinocchio, and there's no way I could get through that movie. Constantly laughing about things that weren't even funny.
So you still remember that from like what, 6 months ago?
Yeah.
So and what is how do you say I'm going in Spanish? I'm going, yeah. I'm going to be a boya. Very good, excelente. So with names and with numbers, with languages, with whatever you want, there's always a way to switch it up, right? Even with complicated words, right? Just a fun example from when I was in Germany recently, right? Opportunity in German, right? I love the future, right? We're in a time where everybody has equal rights, right? Gay people have legs and new heights. There's gay legs and new heights, Gelegenheit. Gelegenheit in German means opportunity, right? So there's opportunities for everybody. It's beautiful, right? So you can't start making these in the beginning. You need to build your way up towards these complicated ones. We have like multiple words, and eventually you start adding some German, some English, some French, some Russian, and you into the same sentence. Your brain is connecting them all. That takes time, but I promise you, when you get to there, you will be so happy. Right? Past me would have thought that I was a robot. Hearing the things that I do today. People think that I'm a genius. I'm not. I just play one on TV, right? It's just an illusion. It's just party tricks. I've trained my brain to remember things, and so now I seem very smart. But if people think you're very smart, eventually you start believing them as well, right? So you can actually get smarter and smarter over the next couple of years with these tricks, okay? So, and then the third gift is the gift of giving. It is something that's really, really beautiful from a selfless point of view, but also from a selfish point of view, right? So anybody who's ever experienced the giving just out of the goodness of your heart, just to help somebody out, it feels amazing. You get good karma. Everybody involved in the situation feels love and gratitude and happiness, and that's how we're designed to work together as societal creatures, to help each other out when we have the ability to help out, either with money, with time, with support, with information, right? With any kind of support that we could offer, it's really, 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 really helpful. But from the selfish point of view, as we help others, our brain gets flooded with 3 of the happiness chemicals, right? Dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. So we get flooded with this and we get high. And as we get flooded with this high happiness, our brain and our central nervous system flushes out the cortisol, the stress chemical. So when we're trying to speak Spanish, when we're trying to learn, we're trying to perform, we're trying to do anything, normally we're putting effort, right? Like she was very confident, she knew the phone number, and then we put a spotlight on her, and now she goes, now I have to perform. Now I have to show everybody how smart I am. Now I have to, right? I need to remember. And now there's this perceived stress, this perceived pressure that who put it on her? Just herself. Who experiences that? All of us. Right? It's completely normal. It's deer caught in the headlight. Whenever you try on a first date, on a job interview, right? When you're on camera and you're like, all right, now I have to sound smart. And you're like, I swear, normally I'm not this dumb, right? Even in your own language, you have a tough time sometimes, right? So it's very important to try to minimize the cortisol in our body. It can reduce our IQ by over 50%. Right? I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm learning a new language, I need every inch of my IQ, every decimal. I need it. And if you lose 50, 60% just because you have freaking cortisol in your body, right? It sucks. So there's a lot of things that we can do to eliminate the cortisol, right? We can breathe properly, we can breathe deeply, we can stop giving a fuck, right? That one I really recommend trying that every once in a while, right? Everybody's trying to be perfect all the time and on Facebook and Instagram.